It's a romance movie about a boy who falls in love with his dad's secretary. The story begins with Simon, who lives a happy life with his girlfriend, Fabian. Simon is an aspiring artist, while Fabian runs an art gallery. One day, Simon attends his father's 60th birthday and brings Fabian along. Nervous about the gathering, Simon arrives at his family home and sees his father, Carl, praying with friends. His mother, Agnes, is also there. During the prayer, Simon notices Sonia, his father's secretary and mistress. Before moving forward, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. It will help us keep bringing your favorite movie recaps. As the prayer ends and guests enjoy their food, some of them ask Simon why he left medical school. Carl, a respected writer and psychologist, supports Simon's decision to pursue art. Fabian proudly mentions that Simon has been nominated for an award, making his parents beam with pride. Later, Agnes asks Simon for help with Carl's new book. She wants him to transcribe Carl's lectures into a book and promises a generous payment. Simon declines, explaining that he's too busy with his art. Meanwhile, he notices Carl alone in a room with Sonia. Agnes sees this too, and suddenly has a seizure, which distresses Simon. Fabian reassures him on their way home, explaining that Agnes has had seizures before. The next morning, Fabian leaves early for work. Simon follows her to her office on his bike and shows her his new sketches. Fabian critiques his work, reminding him that their exhibition is in 3 weeks, and his art still needs improvement. Agnes walks in while they are talking. She pulls Simon aside and begs him to transcribe the book so she can go on vacation with Carl. She explains that without his help, she would have to stay back, and Carl would take Sonia instead, which might deepen their romance. Simon dislikes working for his dad, but agrees to help his mom. Fabian worries the extra work will hurt Simon's art, but Simon assures him he can manage. Simon heads to his family home, where Carl explains his plan to turn his lectures into a book. During their discussion, Carl admits he's in a relationship with Sonia. He says he loves her and feels guilty that Sonia must stay back to help Simon with the book. After his parents leave, Simon starts working. That evening, he attends an awards ceremony with Fabian. Although Simon knows he won't win, he feels disappointed when someone else gets the prize. Fabian comforts him, saying his work is excellent and recognition will come soon. The next day, Simon continues transcribing. During lunch, Sonia complains that she missed her vacation with Carl because of him. Angry, Simon snaps at her, saying she shouldn't feel special since Carl is a known womanizer who will move on to someone else soon. Sonia looks upset and tries to defend herself, but Simon refuses to listen. That evening, Simon struggles to draw anything. Feeling uninspired, he chats with his roommate and feeds a stray dog outside his apartment. The next morning, Simon sees Sonia confronting Carl, telling him she isn't a toy he can use as he pleases. Amused, Simon enjoys watching their argument until his dad calls. His dad warns him to only talk to Sonia about work to avoid causing trouble in their relationship. Later that day, Carl's manager tells Simon that Sonia used to be one of Carl's patients. This revelation intrigues Simon. Later that day, a young woman looks for Carl because he invited her to his clinic. When Sonia sees her, she tells the woman to leave, but the situation upsets her. After his shift, Simon plans to transfer his work to a flash drive. He goes to Sonia's office and finds her crying. She tries to wipe her tears, and Simon offers her a box of wipes. When she hugs him, he comforts her, saying everything will be okay. Suddenly, she kisses him. Shocked, Simon leaves the office immediately. Later that afternoon, he meets Fabian but can't stop thinking about Sonia, even when he's with his girlfriend. The next day, Simon sits in his office trying to work, but the kiss keeps distracting him. He goes to Sonia's office and asks if the kiss meant anything. Sonia says it was just a spur-of-the-moment thing. Simon doesn't like her answer. When she leaves for lunch with another colleague, Simon decides to look into her past. He opens the cabinet, takes out Sonia's file, but someone knocks at the door before he can read it. He quickly puts the file back and answers the door. A man stands there holding a bouquet of roses. Simon learns that Carl sent the roses for Sonia. Jealous, Simon takes the roses outside and throws them into the garden. Later, Simon joins Fabian for lunch, but sees Fabian trying to recruit the guy who won the artist award. Feeling uncomfortable, Simon leaves and returns to the office. Sonia asks him about the roses, but Simon denies knowing anything about them. Simon sees Sonia talking to his father and listens to their conversation. He gets upset when he hears his father calling him a crazy person. Angry, he tells Sonia not to feel too proud because Carl evaluates her just like he evaluates everyone else. Then, Simon takes a train straight to Fabian's office. There, he spots Fabian talking to the new artist. While Simon grabs a drink in the kitchen, his dad confronts him about causing problems at work. Simon says he doesn't want to work anymore, but his mom insists he should keep working on the book or risk ruining their marriage. Overwhelmed by the pressure, Simon argues with Fabian, who explains that she hired a new artist because Simon isn't doing his job. After the argument, Simon returns to the office and finds Sonia searching for a key to the cabinets to get her file. He helps her find it and notices that Sonia looks sad after reading Carl's remarks. She kisses him again, and they leave her office to find privacy. They sneak into Carl's house, where Simon and Sonia end up sleeping together in his parents' bedroom. After their romantic session, Simon cleans the sheets and gets into the car with Sonia, who drives him to the city. She tells him he's always welcome to hang out with her, which makes Simon very happy. He finally feels good about himself. However, things go south when his flatmate informs him that Fabian has been spending a lot of time with a new artist. That evening, Simon attends a private party where Fabian sings a love song for him. It's clear she loves him and is having a great time. Fabian sits with Simon and kisses him, but Simon admits he slept with Sonia. Heartbroken, Fabian is at a loss for words. She tells him their relationship is beyond repair and walks away. After she leaves, Simon checks his phone and sees an invitation from Sonia. Feeling lonely, he rushes to her apartment and she takes him upstairs. They make out and end up sleeping together. Sonia cooks a meal for Simon, and he blesses the food with a prayer. He stays the night, and in the morning, he discovers Sonia has gone to the market. While looking at a photo of Sonia and his dad, Simon is shocked when Carl suddenly walks into the apartment. Simon learns the apartment belongs to Carl. Carl explains that Sonia has always wanted a baby, and since he can't give her one, their relationship has been strained. Sonia returns and kisses Simon in front of Carl while they are talking. Carl tries to speak to Sonia, but she tells him to leave. As Simon puts on his pants, he realizes Sonia used him to make Carl jealous. He confronts her, and she admits it. This realization messes with Simon's mind, and he starts hearing ringing in his ears. Feeling nauseous, he somehow makes it back to his apartment. Suddenly, Agnes calls him to say that Carl plans to move in with Sonia. While Simon is still on the call, Agnes has a panic attack. Concerned, Simon rushes over to check on her. When he arrives, his mom is fine, but starts blaming him for everything. She tells him to grow up and stay away from Carl and Sonia because he's only caused trouble. Her harsh words deeply hurt Simon, making him feel unloved. Simon then goes to Fabian's studio and begs for forgiveness, but she tells him he isn't thinking clearly and should stay away. Rejected again, Simon returns to his apartment and destroys all his artwork. He suddenly suffers an attack and passes out. Simon wakes up in a hospital to find his dad, Carl, by his side. Carl expresses his happiness to see him awake and admits he never wanted to burden Simon with his personal life. Simon accuses Carl of ruining Agnes's life and making her unstable, which makes Carl emotional. Carl explains that while he loves Agnes and wants to care for her, Sonia makes him genuinely happy. A few months later, Simon is now enrolled in a medical school, and he goes to see his father during the release of his book. There, Simon sees Sonia, who is pregnant with his child. He also meets his mom, who still hasn't given up on her husband. Simon asks her why she wouldn't leave him, and she says that she wants to take care of Simon's child since Sonia clearly isn't up for the job. Sometime later, Simon is back at home for another party where Sonia hands him his son. After looking at his baby, he forgives Sonia for using him like that. The film ends with the family taking a group picture while Simon thinks about his future. And that's how the movie ends. What did you think? Let us know in the comments below. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon for more amazing videos. See you next time.